Hey guys, what's going on? Memento here, and welcome to Cernos Prime. Now getting right into it, in terms of fashion frame, this thing looks absolutely gorgeous. It is my favorite looking bow in the game, probably one of my favorite looking primaries in the game, and I love the way that the Rakta Cernos looked, so this really just went a step above and beyond for me. And it's really an amazing fit for most Warframes. Especially Valkyr Prime, because when I think of Valkyr, I think of Valkyrie, right? Makes sense. And when I think Valkyrie, I think wings. Which, do Valkyries have wings? I don't really know, to be honest with you, but oh well. But the way it performs in combat and in practice, maybe not as overpowered. It's actually not that bad of a weapon, it's just not as good as I thought it would be. But you know what, I'm actually glad, because if it was as good as I thought it would be supremely overpowered. Which it's good that they didn't make it overpowered and they made it still a fun and unique weapon. So in all fairness, let's compare it to the Rakta Cernos, because you do have to pick between the two eventually, right? So the Rakta Cernos, of course, right now is, you know, the most consistent dealing DPS bow. It has a good charge rate and a good reload. However, the Cernos Prime is more like its dilapidated second cousin. The charge rate, oh my god, it's so slow, and the reload speed is abysmal in my opinion. This thing is clunky, and it really, for someone like me who isn't good with bows in the first place, this thing was a challenge. And this is the first bow that I actually fully built out. Even my Rakta Cernos isn't fully built out, which is a shame, I know, because I'm missing out on that beautiful, beautiful damage. However, you know, this thing is a fun weapon, and I'm not going to beat on it too much. It's a fun weapon. It's not supposed to be another overpowered DPS monster machine that'll just kill everything up until level infinity. It's there. And other than that, you can't really compare the two, and this is where the Cernos Prime becomes a special snowflake. It has innate multishot, so it fires 3 arrows at once. So it's basically a shotgun bow. The goal is to hit every single arrow on the target, and it's not as easy as you think it would be, especially when you add split chamber, because split chamber does affect the bow even further, giving it a 90% chance to shoot 6 arrows and a 10% chance to shoot 5. That's what the 90% means on the split chamber. So the damage though is split between each arrow. Then that's what kind of killed it for me. The innate multi-shot caught my ear, and then hearing that the damage is split between each arrow kind of ruined it. However, it's not bad. The damage it does isn't really great for endgame in my opinion. The way it performed against Grenier when I tested it out in the Simulacrum didn't really impress me. It was fun. However, it took a lot of shots to bring down level 100 heavy gunners and level 100 bombards. And I even tested it against a level 100 heavy gunner Eximus, and it was just slow. And there are definitely more efficient weapons if you want to kill things quickly. Again, this is a fun weapon. So how do you build it? Well, of course, Serration and Split Chamber are 2 mods that I consider mandatory. Next up, another mod I consider mandatory is Heavy Caliber. Now, the very nice thing about this weapon is that Heavy Caliber does not affect its accuracy at all. That's absolutely incredible. And that's another thing that I thought would make this thing overpowered. Heavy Caliber with all of the benefit and no drawback whatsoever? My god, that's incredible. However, no, sadly, it's not as good as that. It's not good enough. Although mine is 9 out of 10, however, I don't think that little bit of extra damage from maxing mine out would really affect much. 9 out of 10 being my heavy caliber is level 9 out of 10. I just don't have the time or the effort to farm all the endo. But moving on. Next up, you want to put on Vital Sense and Point Strike. Get that crit damage and that crit chance, because when you're going up close against enemies, trying to hit all of those arrows into the head, which is what you want to do ideally, the crit chance and the crit damage really do help. Up next, you can put your damage elemental mods. I chose Corrosive. And lastly, this is where you can have a lot of fun. You can choose Of course, what I would prefer to put on here is a fire rate mod. I went with Vile Acceleration. The damage, negative damage, doesn't really affect much, especially when you can have heavy caliber there. The negative accuracy doesn't affect anything, and the negative damage doesn't really affect anything, in my opinion. If I wanted to cancel out the effects of Vile Acceleration right now in my Cernos Prime, I would just need to max out heavy caliber to 10 out of 10. And it's just a good mod overall. It feels a lot better with the Vile Acceleration. It feels a lot smoother to use. But you can go with something like the 60% fire rate mod, or you can go with Shred. Speed Trigger, that's what I'm thinking of. Or you can go with Shred. Or you can go with what I showed. You can go with Thunderbolt. However, that's more of a gimmicky kind of I just don't feel like killing anything mod. Or I just feel like doing things very slowly mod, because it's fun, but it's slow. And you'll be, you'll be pulling back each arrow to fire it more than you'll be actually killing enemies with that mod, especially in higher levels. However, in mid to low levels, it doesn't even matter. It's a fun mod, but I certainly wouldn't really use it in most situations. Now, how do you use this weapon? What I would recommend that you do is use a stealth frame, a tanky frame, or a crowd control frame. So Frost crowd control build, Vauban, Rhino, Valkyr, which she is the tank frame, so she can take the punishment as she's going up close. The God Cheese frame Loki Prime, or just Loki. Avara, of course, thinking because her Arnis bow is sort of like the Cernos Prime. All of those frames work. And just you want to get up close, you want to hit all of those arrows in the head. Doesn't really matter how you go about doing it, but that's just the real way you do it. Because if you're firing, especially at longer distances, when you're firing especially at one enemy, you are wasting a lot of potential DPS, and it's like 4 to 5 arrows are just hitting walls in the floor, and 1 or 2 are hitting the enemy, and it's really just overkill. So either bring this to a mission where you know that there's going to be a ton of enemies that you can hit, so basically to where you know you're going to be hitting at least 2 to 3 enemies at minimum, or bring it to where you can effectively go up in front of enemies that are strong enough, that are pretty strong, and hit them all in the head with 6 arrows of destruction. So, the Cernos Prime, it's a fun weapon. It's not the greatest weapon on the planet, but, it's another unique weapon that I have to applaud DE. They made a weapon that's fun, unique, and it's not overpowered, and I'm glad it's not overpowered. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry it took so long to bring out this episode. I was sick, and I still am. I'm actually getting worse as I'm doing this video. However, I took medicine, and I'm feeling a little bit better now. And I just want to get this video out for you guys, especially because there's so much that's going to be happening up in the next few days, from the Prime Vault access to the new mods that just came out. And I plan on getting Ember Prime because she's the last Prime frame I need to complete my collection. And, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I wish you guys luck on farming this. I actually forgot to say this. The bow requires 5 parts like the Paris Prime, and I'll put the drop table on the screen somewhere, maybe now, maybe earlier in the video, and in the description I'll put a link to the Reddit post I used, of course I did the other 2 times for the other 2 videos, to farm for this stuff for this Prime access. So, with that being said, I wish you guys luck if you choose to farm it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys enjoy the Cernos Prime, and until next time, thank you for watching.